A new challenger approaches in the whole Lupe Fiasco versus Royce da 5'9" beef, which basically now has turned into multiple people versus Royce da 5'9", with Mickey Factz dropping his track WRAiTH. Seeing as I've been keeping a pretty close attention to what's happening with this, it's only right I go bar for bar and break down these lyrics as well. If you are new here, these breakdowns are where I go through and read out the lyrics to a song and give my interpretation of what the artist is trying to say. It's not always exactly what they're trying to say, it's just what I think it is. So, if I am incorrect or if I misread something or misinterpret anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because that way, everyone gets to learn. Now, starting with this track, before we can get into the lyrics, looking at the cover art and the title and how it's written out, and the length of the track and when it was released, there's a lot to pick at there. So, looking at the cover art itself, it is a Rolls-Royce WRAiTH on fire. So, that kind of pulls in from the title of the track as well. But a Rolls-Royce WRAiTH, I mean, that's a direct reference to Royce da 5'9". And, you know, he's on fire. He killed it. And then if you look at the way that the track is written out, it's all caps for every word or letter except for the I. So the I is lowercase, or at least smaller. So initially it'll look like wrath. So this is a diss track. Wrath is going to be involved. You could you could feel it. Aside from that, the track is 5 minutes and 59 seconds long, and it also released at 5:59 Eastern Time. So that in itself is also a reference to Royce, being 5'9" or 59 is Royce da 5'9", and you could also make the argument that the 5 in 5:59 is Royce because Royce is 5 letters long. Now, getting into the track, it starts off with a little bit of an intro. Basically where Mickey's saying like, "Oh man, I don't want to do this. I hate when you have to do this." I mean, but it's also really, it just sounds playful at that point. But anyways, it goes right into his first verse.
All this chatter for hours is really silly, nigga. With no rapping, I swear you gotta be backwards. No matter how many flowers you try to give a nigga, it's like they only want them on top of the casket. Damn.
Royce, if you aren't aware, goes on Instagram Live quite often, and you know, he's on there for a little while. After the whole RJ Payne and Ransom tweet, they went on IG Live for a while, talked, and then after the Lupe track, he also went on IG Live for quite a while and talked again. And Mickey's just like, "Yo, why are you doing all this? Why aren't you just rapping? Why aren't you just, you put out the first track, like what are you doing? You know, no matter how many flowers we try to give you, it's like you're not going to accept them until you're dead. And the people who are going to kill you are probably the people who are trying to give you these flowers." So, I mean, everyone has been pretty like, yeah, no, Royce is dope. He's a really solid lyricist. And I don't think anyone really argues that. But, you know, he's like, people are giving him these flowers and he's like, nah. So they got to kill him.
Pay the price for acting ladylike. We rarely see black M&Ms. Kinda shady, right? You sent the shot, so I flash back like it's 80s night.
We pay the price for acting ladylike. That is, I'm feeling like it's direct reference to how Royce called Lupe a bitch on IG Live, and that's kind of what really set Lupe off. Rarely see black M&Ms, like literally the candy. You don't see black M&Ms, but also like, you don't really see anyone that's at Eminem's level in terms of skill as well as popularity. I mean, skill-wise, yeah, sure. People can probably go toe-to-toe with Eminem at this point. I don't want to name anyone, but I feel like it's possible. But in terms of popularity, you know, that's a bit tougher.
Playing big or put you in the box, that was Gravy's plight. Thought I was hijacking that live, now I'm taking flight. Your girl in the ghost and gobbling dick, say goodnight. You know how I rolls, Royce, chess move.
So the playing big will put you in a box, that was Gravy's plight. He's making reference to Young Gravy, who played Biggie in Notorious and just could never really get out of that box. And be his own rapper. And then Thought I Was Hijacking That Live, I think he's talking about when Royce went on live after Lupe's track, maybe. But now he's taking flight. Or maybe there were comments about him hijacking the live, and he's like, nah, now I'm really going off. But also hijacking a flight. Your girl in the Ghost and Goblin Dick. So ghosts and goblins, but also she's in the Ghost sucking dick. But also that's a Rolls Royce.
See Ryan Reynolds wrapped in a lagoon, that's a Deadpool. Yeah, Lupe freestyled and got you out of here. You cried alone from playing yourself, shed a solid tear. All that syllable biblical is kind of weird. You
see Ryan, he's referring to Royce Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds. Lupe freestyle and got you out here. Lupe was the first person to put something out, so that's really what made Royce put out a track in the first place.
Dresses you up from being direct, cause you probably scared. Your fans say I'm on a rampage. Better reunite Slaughterhouse and get cut. You need your band-aid. I told him prove you do what I do. He gave me lampshade.
So he's basically saying like all these fancy words you use are just a way to basically just make you sound fancy and make it so you can shroud yourself from being direct. So, and you're not being direct because you're scared. And then the fans are saying that I'm on a rampage. And to respond to that rampage, you better reunite Slaughterhouse. You're not getting Joe Budden out there. I don't think anything is going to bring Joe Budden out. Not even this beef. But we'll see. Better reunite Slaughterhouse or get cut. You need your Band-Aid. That's kind of a deep cut, I think. Because I think originally during the whole Slaughterhouse thing, Royce was the one that was kind of like setting things off at times. I think I could be misremembering it. I could be thinking of Joe Budden, but one of those two were just kind of causing trouble and kind of like pushed them over the edge. I think it was Joe Budden now I'm saying it, but get cut. You need a Band-Aid.
And said no, I gave the bitch room, and then the man cave. Divide his body, the footage got him severed. Contradicting every lie, pull yourself together. Your songs ain't no anthems, your bar placement random, and you still ain't bring that energy to RJ and Ransom, nigga.
Following that lampshade line, it sounds like he's calling Royce a bitch now. He's like, alright, well fine, I'll give you some room, and you can even have the man cave. And then he's talking about cutting up his body and just putting him everywhere. The footage got him severed. I don't know what footage exactly, but I think it's in relation to that next line, contradicting every line live, pull yourself together. So in his lives, people have been saying he's like kind of contradicting himself with the whole like he's trying to be like super polite and holier than thou. Again, this is what I've been hearing. I haven't really actually paid too much attention to the lives because they always happen when I'm at work. And then he's just like, yo, your songs ain't no anthems, and your bar placement is random, and you still haven't responded to RJ or Ransom. But this brings up the whole originally, like what started this off, like the whole RJ Payne tweet saying like, hey, no one touching me or Ransom when it comes to rapping. And then what's dope is it goes into a bridge where he's talking and he's like, yo, this all started because RJ said him and Ransom were the best, and you went on IG instead of getting in the booth and responding to them, and like that's weird. So since they haven't said anything directly to Royce either other than that, he's gonna borrow their style. So this whole next verse is basically just him pulling RJ's style, but also a little bit in Royce's in there as well.
Got rid of the pounds, I had a literal weight plan on Montgomery Ave, bad, I'm dealing that name brand. Catch Royce at the register and give him a face scan. This ain't RJ or Sean Kemp, original Rain Man.
So got rid of the pounds, little weight plan. I'm assuming we're talking about drugs there. On Montgomery Ave, mad, I'm doing that name brand. Ryan Montgomery. Montgomery is Royce's last name. So he's on his street, basically. It's like, all right, I'm dealing this name brand. And instead of it being drugs, it's probably just bars at this point. And he caught Royce at the register and give him a face scan. Don't know what the face scan is exactly. Maybe he's just like trying to like read him. And it's like, at this point, it's not RJ, it's Sean Kemp, the original Rain Man, the basketball player who had the nickname Rain Man.
They loving the pressure, want me to test ya. KRS One with the lectures, big pun with the letters.
They're loving the pressure that people are, like, everyone, like, fans are enjoying the pressure that people are putting on Royce. And they're like, we want you to test him, like, get him going.
On the roof, about to leave Royce sick, clutching Berettas, bullets rain over you, now we really under the weather, pain. Randy Nichols, I'm dissecting the track, more fly, elegant rap.
So, you know, he just kind of ends out his voice, and the bullets rain over you, now we really under the weather, calling back to the Rain Man, but he's spelling rain differently than Rain Man was spelled, which, you know, it sounds the same, but it's different. It's dope. I like that. And then he switches into Royce with Randy Nichols on dissecting that track. At least that's how I took it. It was interesting at first because I thought he was going to go Ransom, but Nickel is, you know, another name that Royce has picked up, so that's where I'm pulling that.
His pride get him attacked. This guy's skeleton cracked till Ryan melanin's flat. Then the white guy rides with cosign his melanin's black.
Royce's pride gets him attacked, and his skeleton's getting cracked, so he's going to get beat up, essentially. Until Ryan's melon is flat, like his brains, his head. And then the white guy he rides with cosign his melanin's black. So they're gonna do this until Eminem cosigns that Royce is black. Sure. I didn't know that was up for debate.
Don't cry, give him a clap. I'm Lucifer, the Y3 fly, devilish cat who decides heaven is whack. Now my attention is back, apply pressure with facts. Marvel at your multiverse till you die, mentioning that duffel.
Don't cry, give him a clap. Just give him a round of applause. Kind of, I think, a callback to the whole giving people flowers bit. I'm Lucifer with the Y3 fly devilish cat. So he's basically calling himself the devil, which makes sense with the next bit. But the Y3 devilish cat, the only thing that comes to mind with Y3 is like the fashion brand. So I'm assuming that's what he's talking about, but it could be something else entirely. Who decides heaven is whack? So Heaven Studios, which is Royce's studio, but also the Lucifer to heaven. Lucifer fell from heaven. Marvel at your multiverse till you die, mentioning that. Yeah, so Marvel has a multiverse, and there's different dimensions, so till you die, mentioning that. So marvel at all this whole multiverse that you've created until you die, mentioning that. So I like the wordplay there. Then there's another break where he just kind of talks again, which is just like, he's just like, why are you not responding? Why are you just getting on IG talking to people? And then he goes into his third and last verse.
People taking me being unbothered as weakness. Yeah. Mills at the dock, I'm done harboring meekness. Yeah. Rob Marvin know that my son's father's a genius. All them dumb shots when I'm unboxed with the defense.
I don't know if he's talking about or going from Royce's perspective at this point. It doesn't make sense to. Because, I mean, it makes sense in some way because he's like, Royce is just, whatever, I'm not going to talk about this. But here he goes back to his normal voice and normal flow. So, people taking me being unbothered as a weakness, I mean, you know, sometimes you're just not bothered by these things. So, the Mills, I'm assuming, like, money. So, millions. It's in the docks. And he is done harboring meekness. So, that's a play on Meek Mill. I thought it was cool. All of them dumb shots when I'm Ong Bak with the defense. I believe Ong Bak are those martial arts movies or Muay Thai movies. So he's basically like, all these shots are dumb when I got all this defense.
Ryan Montgomery hiding behind every rhymer he defining as brotherly. I've decided he's grumpily by my discovery.
So he's saying that Ryan Montgomery's hiding behind all these other rappers that he calls his brothers, I guess.
5'9" is trying to be somebody. The upper echelon recognizes by his redundancy. Hove took you off renegade like it was custody. Your dad ain't even pushed back, surprising you suddenly.
So basically saying, like, Royce is trying to be someone that the upper echelon recognizes by his redundancy, which is interesting because it's like, you don't want to be known as being redundant. But to be fair, I was able to recognize the Royce flow pretty easily in the second verse, so maybe there's that, which is actually really funny now that you think about it, because I think Royce said that like Lupe's flow is redundant or something like that on his track. And then Hove took you off Renegade like it was custody. Royce was supposed to be on Renegade, but clearly Jay-Z was on it instead.
On the sideline, crying uncomfortably. I am abundantly tired and hungrily. I am a gluttony. Why am I suddenly mocked for loyalty that I'm giving publicly?
Mickey is confused because he's like, why am I being mocked for being loyal to Lupe? I'm assuming because he's siding with Lupe with this. And then he actually says it with the next line.
Lupe is my brother and I'ma ride with him stubbornly. Defending the best and nevertheless adrenaline been in my chest. He getting regrets forever discrediting the vets.
So he's going to ride for Lupe stubbornly, like no matter what, basically. And he's going to keep defending the best. So he's basically already saying that Lupe is better than Royce. Cool.
While living up Eminem's mess, he got a song with Kiss and Fab. Read it out the book of Ryan, but I would be lying if I ever said that shit is trash.
It's continuing to say that Royce is living in Eminem's shadow, essentially. Like, you are living off of Eminem's mess. Like, you're just... People know you because of Eminem, which early on, I could say that. I didn't learn about Royce from Eminem, so there's that, I guess. He got a song with Kiss and Fab, read it out on the Book of Ryan, but I would be lying if I ever said that shit was trash. I'm drawing a blank on the song now, but yeah, and he's basically saying like, you got a track with Kiss and Fab, like that's dope, and the Book of Ryan is dope as well, and I agree, the Book of Ryan was a really dope album.
So let's talk about the pen and pad. You good at writing, it's ironic. You won with FAB, but you lost to Mr. Fab. Trash. Playing Mufasa got you some battle scars.
All this talk about pen and pad, like, yeah, you're good at writing, but it's ironic. You won with Fabulous, but you lost to Mr. Fab, which it's kind of a diss to Mr. Fab. I guess they did have a rap battle, which I was not aware of until recently. Like I saw it a couple of days ago, actually. Like someone mentioned it, but that's disrespectful to Mr. Fab, I feel. I mean, I'm from the Bay, so you know, you can't really talk anything bad about our legends here. Come on now. Playing Mufasa, so trying to be a father to all these people, I guess, got you some battle scars, which I think is a Lupe reference because of the track Battle Scars.
If you would've checked the box, you probably on Amazon instead of dying in the jungle. Jordan mean Avatar. I'm Jeff Bezos, out of space with galactic bars. Wait, that's something that Royce would do.
So now he's talking about the boxes that Royce alluded to getting checked off. In terms, basically, just to be a dope rapper, like you have to check these boxes. And it's like if you check the box, you're probably on Amazon. But you're probably on Amazon instead of dying in the jungle. So he's talking about you would be on Amazon, like the company, like you would have checked the box, or instead of dying in the Amazon jungle. And then he's talking about how Royce makes references to pop culture. And he goes further into that with the next lines.
He'll take something from pop culture and exploit it through a point or two, like Sha'Carri Richardson, Bill Cosby, common shit. Current event bars ain't skills, kinda obvious. You gotta quit doing entendre without comic wit. So
yeah, that is something that Royce does, I feel. I never took offense to it, but yeah, I guess it is an easier thing to do. You're just like drawing from something that happened recently, and he did that on his track as well. I think the thing that really stood out there was the do an entendre without comic wit. That is something that he's been criticized for a lot. Years ago, when he was in like the Slaughterhouse era, people were like, yeah, Royce is a dope rapper, but he's just corny. Like he keeps making jokes, and he's toned back on that a little bit, but you know, it's still there. I don't really take offense to it, but you know, it sometimes is a bit much.
I don't subscribe to the way I'm the definition, the opposite. Chain punching, you do Tetris, I do column shit. Get stoned with a great structure until your monolith, obelisk. Look what I'm amounting to, a steep yes.
So he's like, chain punching, you do Tetris. So in Tetris, your goal is to line up all the blocks so that they can get basically broken and like just kind of keep your stack of blocks low. But on the other hand, he's the opposite. he's trying to columnize it. Columnize? That's not a word. He's trying to create columns and eventually an obelisk, which is just a very tall structure.
At my peak next, no TV when Ryan Seacrest, top of the hill. Here's the cliffhanger like Cosby closet, eating pork, claiming Muslim hogwash. Ryan Wallen, stop it, novice.
No TV when Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest. But also when Royce sees a crest, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like when like the crest of a hill or something, like it's like a kind of a peak, but like the start of a cliff, I think. So it's like a sea crest. Oh, well, top of the hill. He said it in the next line. It's 1 a.m. I'm tired. Here's the cliffhanger like Cosby closet. I don't know exactly what he's referencing there. The cliffhanger being like what may eventually come of this whole Cosby thing. I'm not too sure. Eating pork, claiming Muslim hogwash, Ryan Weiland. I don't know that Royce claimed that he was Muslim or is Muslim and he's eating pork. But I mean, that kind of goes with all religions. Like, you can kind of do, you don't have to follow everything, I feel. Like, you can kind of pick and choose, but regardless, he's saying that's hogwash, which is funny because pig.
Listen what I'm giving you. Yeah, I check boxes. Wow. That's what morticians do. And stop fibbing too, nigga.
They're saying like, okay, stop, listen. Yeah, I checked boxes, the boxes that he was referencing, and that's what morticians do. You know, you check the coffin, and you know, just continuing on that whole theming of killing Royce.
You was mad at Cass and turned to rock him when he asked. Ain't like the aftermath. Did the same thing with Payne. Then you got scolded. He had you holding on your chin like Francois wrote it.
Totally drawing a blank on Cass, but turned to rock him. And ain't that the aftermath? Like, after all this is the aftermath of what happened. And then you did the same thing with Payne, and then you got scolded. Maybe they had an altercation on IG Live. That sounds like a thing that would happen. That tracks, but I don't know. And then had you holding your chin like Francois Rodin. I believe he was the person who did the Thinking Man sculpture. So he's like, oh, so whatever Payne said got him like that.
Look what I have sculpted. Nigga talking checking boxes. Y3 all the time, never a checking boxes. They'll find his chicken head dismembered in checker boxes.
Look what I've sculpted. So carrying on the whole sculpture a bit, and then you're talking about checking boxes. I'm Y3 all the time. Again, I'm not sure if Y3 is in reference to something else other than the fashion line, but I don't know. Never check in boxes. Like, you don't check in the box or in your inbox. You'll find this chicken head dismembered in checker boxes. Don't know why. Well, maybe the chicken head because he's calling Royce a chicken, but why isn't it a checker box?
Yeah, Bobby Fischer, you playing chess with checker boxes. He loved MMA. Every day he checking boxes. Joe Budden, dick riding. Look at Royce checking boxes. Money in the mail, man. I see the checking boxes.
You know, that's pretty straightforward. You're playing chess with checker boxes. Joe Budden, dick riding. So why are you throwing shots at Joe now? He's not involved. But Joe Budden, dick riding, because him and Royce are still very close friends, I feel. At least from when I was actually listening to the Joe Budden podcast, it sounded like they were close.
Your chick be in my DMs when I check in boxes. Yeah, ask women, this guy know I'm checking boxes. Fuck that, I'm Craig on Friday. I ain't checking boxes. They all thinking I ain't got fire, literally.
Your chick be in my DMs, I'd be checking my inbox. Ask women, this guy know I'm checking boxes. Yeah.
You not Christopher Nolan. Ryan, fuck what you pitching me on IG. The way that I handled it showed humility. But this nigga bathing in arrogance, insecurity, disparaging words by Lupe making murals.
You're not Christopher Nolan. You're not a filmmaker. What are you trying to pitch me? Like, what? All this, I'm not feeling it. The way I handled it on IG shows that I'm showing humility. But you are bathing in arrogance and insecurity. And I guess Royce had some words regarding Lupe's mural. I forgot it. Well, I read about it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But it wasn't good. But you know, like, mural is one of those tracks where Lupe just kind of goes off for 8 minutes, It's insane. I like the track. It's fun to listen to every once in a while.
Wow. You tried to do it and failed. You should have called it plural. Word. Lay him face down and ask him, you want a war? No spine. This is easy. I'm back to the drawing board.
I guess Royce tried to do a mural track. Maybe he's talking about Silence of the Lambda. I don't get the plural line. And lay him face down and ask him, you want a war? No spine. This is easy. I'm back to the drawing board. It just sounds like he's like, Royce ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna get back to writing. And then there's an outro where he's basically saying like, man, I bet he won't respond. And I'm just gonna keep doing this until 2022. That's that track. I actually really enjoyed this. Especially the second verse where he pulls off the RJ Payne and Royce impersonations. Those worked really well, and it definitely made it interesting. I feel like he definitely went after Royce a lot harder than I expected, because originally this sounded like a Royce and Lupe beef, but now Mickey Factz is coming in, just my god. I am curious to see where this goes, though. I don't anticipate Royce responding right away. I did also see something on Twitter about like people egging Ransom on. He's like, "Hey, you gonna do something?" I'm less interested in seeing that and more interested in seeing what RJ Payne has to say. Because Ransom can rap his ass off, and we know RJ Payne can too. But I think it would be beneficial for RJ Payne to do this to get a little bit more attention. I mean, he is getting a lot more attention in like the last 2 years, but just to push him a little bit further, it'd be, I think, helpful career-wise. But if he doesn't, it's no big deal either. He's still a dope rapper. Don't know who's gonna respond next, but I'm interested. I hope it just doesn't just kind of fizzle out. And they just talk about it on IG Live or something, or like it's just promo for an album or something like that. Like I hope like something else happens, but that's just the rap fan in me, I guess. That's all I got though. Let me know in the comments below if I missed something or misinterpreted anything, because like I mentioned, I don't know everything. I don't get all the references, so it helps out. Also, like and subscribe if you want to see more content and breakdowns like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.